Hey guys, Mike Brandenstein with the Worship Based Workshop. Today, that's right, today we are going to be learning how to slap. So, by the end of this lesson, you will be on your way to playing this. Alright, well at least you'll be on your way, you'll get started. Because today we're going to be working with our thumb, we're going to do a little plucking and talk about these little percussive things that happen in between the notes. Alright, so go on, get your bass, come on back and let's get to work. Okay, now before we get started with the motion and how we're going to use our thumb, I want to talk to you about one of the most important things that I think is missing with a lot of the students I work with. And it's to get started with slapping, we got to realize that we're using kind of a whipping motion with our thumb. And in order to do a whipping motion, we have to have a very relaxed hand. And that is the first thing I see missing in a lot of students. We have to get this hand relaxed because if our hand is stiff, we're not going to get a good slap motion. So let me give you an analogy to help you relax your wrist, because this is something that even when I tell a student, relax your hand, it's just kind of hard to do, okay? So think about this. Think about you're sitting at a picnic table and you get up from the picnic table and you look at your thumb and there is something really gross on it. So the first thing we all do isn't, we don't usually do this, right? No, I hope not anyway. But what I'll do is I will try to shake it off, right? If I don't have a napkin, I'm going to shake it off. So think about trying to shake that off and what you do. You're trying to whip it off pretty much. You are pretty much trying to slap your thumb down and pull it back quickly so that gross whatever it is flicks off your thumb. And hopefully you come back up with success, right? Well, that's what you're doing with the bass, okay? You are looking to just slap the string, but have a quick pullback. And if we really try to think through that entire motion, it could be very mechanical. So I just want you to think about flicking the string on your bass. The way our motion should be, it should not be a whole arm motion. It should be just with your wrist. You're just, whatever we're doing, whether we're using our fingers, whether we're using our thumb or a pick, we want to be using economy of motion. You might have heard other teachers say that, and that's for any instrument. We want to keep our hand close to the strings, and we want to be moving as little as possible because we want to have our thumb close so we can have accuracy and speed. That'll help with both. So the way we're doing this is I've heard this said before too. It's like opening a doorknob or turning a doorknob. I like that because you're using just these muscles and this action here. You're not using your entire arm to slap down like this. But my arm, when I'm slapping, I'm usually resting on my bass right here. And I'm using this little motion here. The thumb should be somewhat parallel to the strings. I don't know that mine's always parallel to the strings. This looks very uncomfortable to me, but some people like that. Some guys who are great slappers do that. So that's something that to me is debatable, and you can find your technique there. The key I want you to come away with here is using your wrist and having a relaxed hand, okay? All right. Now, we're whipping our thumb into the strings. Let's just practice that one time. And we'll try just doing open E. That's all we're going to do right now, okay? In fact, you don't even have to hear the string. You could just mute it with your thumb, with your left hand. So we're just just practice hitting the E string. And for this practicing, just use the E string because we're going to use the E string on our exercise as well. So just take your time. You should just be kind of whipping it into the string. The key is it's going down and coming right back off. It's bouncing. Drummers talk about using a whip motion with their sticks as well. Same thing. You're just using your thumb like a drumstick. Okay? Now the next thing we're going to do is the pluck. All right, but we're going to pluck with a muted technique as well. I can remember my very first slap experience, and after listening to a bunch of Marcus Miller songs, I'm going in my bedroom and trying to slap this thing and working really hard. I was spending all day learning how to slap the strings, and I thought I got it. but it sounded terrible. And the reason it sounded terrible was because I was focusing only on the notes Marcus Miller was playing. I had no clue that there was so much going on in between the notes. And that's where the key is to having that slap feel, that groove, that funky feel that you're getting when you're hearing a slap solo, and that you're playing once you get started doing it. So this is what we're going to do. We're playing only one note with this exercise, but let's talk about the pluck first. Pluck is going to happen with, I use my middle finger here because it's the longest one. So I come down and we're just going to be plucking the G string right now, okay? It's the easiest one to get at because you don't have any other strings getting in the way unless you have a 6 string. If you have a 6 string and you have a C string, then use the C string. But you want to use your first string and you want to get your finger underneath and just pull up. So once again, keeping your hand close to the bass. Down, pull up. So the motion we're going to use, we're going to slap, and then we're going to pull up. But we're going to add another thing. And this other element involves the left hand. The left hand is coming down to slap the strings. So you're not just using your left hand to mute, you are also using your left hand as a percussive element of this bass line. And you're going to be using your left hand a lot. Next lesson we'll talk a little more about using the left hand for hammer-ons. But right now we're going to talk about just muting. So the thing is, you have to mute it at the right time. You are coordinating your hands now more like a drummer than a guitar player, okay? So we are going to slap. This is going to be the motion of this little exercise here. Slap, mute, right hand, slap. So this is going to be part of the lick. All right? And then we are going to pluck. And your pluck is just a very light pluck, but you hear how you get that snap even without the note being fretted. But when you fret the note, you get that sound. So we'll add notes later, but right now I just want to do this percussive exercise. And here's how we're going to do it. Here's how it's going to sound once we get going. All right, so one more time we're going to slap the E string, slap with the left hand, slap with the right hand, and pluck. Okay, so let's put this whole thing together and get you started on your new slap adventure, okay? There we go. Now, we're going to do this exercise very slowly and just get started and let you go from there. So we're starting off with the slap with our thumb, open E, and then we slap with our left hand. So slap, open E, mute with the left hand. Slap, mute. First 2 steps. Slap, mute. Slap, mute. I'm going to mention one other thing. Sometimes you will hit a harmonic when you mute, and you'll have this ring like that, if you could hear that. So you may just need to be careful. Usually if you're using your whole hand like this, you won't get those harmonics, but sometimes you'll hit it. So just be aware of that. And you just have to move your hand, adjust it. First 2 steps. Slap, mute. Slap, mute. Slap, mute. Don't worry about slapping hard at this point. Just worry about the motion because we're just coordinating. Slap, mute. Slap, mute. Next, our third step is slap, muted slap with the right hand. Slap, left hand mute, right hand mute. Slap, left hand mute, right hand mute. When you're laying down your right hand, make sure your plucking finger, I would suggest the middle finger, make sure the middle finger is laying down ready to pluck and pull up, okay? So first 3 steps again, slap, mute, muted slap with the right hand. Slap, mute, slap. Slap, mute, slap. Slap, mute, slap. Now we pluck. 4th step. Slap, mute, pluck. Oh, I'm sorry. Slap, mute, slap, pluck. Slap, mute, slap, pluck. Slap, mute, slap, pluck. All right? I hope I'm not confusing you with the right hand slap and slap. It should be a muted slap. So slap, mute, muted slap, pluck. guess we can call it whatever we want. All right, now we got this going. Let's see if we can start putting it to a little bit of a tempo. Almost sounds like a train, huh? Okay, and we could speed it up. So get yourself to where you're comfortable with the tempo and move on from there, okay? Just keep working on that exercise. Increase the tempo as you feel comfortable, but make sure you are working on getting it down at a tempo that you're most comfortable with at first, and then increase it. And we'll be rocking and ready for next week when we start adding some things. So, and by the way, guys, if you haven't subscribed to this channel yet, I want to ask you to do so. You know, you'll be getting a new tutorial every Monday and a new cover video every Thursday, along with some added features coming up pretty soon as we start dealing with some worship topics and perhaps some devotionals. So make sure you subscribe. I appreciate it, and I really appreciate you guys watching and sharing my videos. So thanks again. Until next time, this is Mike Brandenstein with the Worship Base Workshop. I'll see you later.